I always had this, that I want to accomplish my father's dream, and I want to the dream that he saw. I want to accomplish that as a daughter. So that is how I started. I enrolled myself into CA.
Hello, everybody. And today I have a very interesting guest joining me on this webinar come podcast. And I've got CA Surbhi Gandhi joining us. And now Surbhi is based all the way in Mumbai, whilst I'm based here in London. And she's got a unique twist, a unique angle to her career. Now, Surbhi, as you can see, is a chartered accountant, but she has many other aspects to her life which she's very much involved in. So welcome to this podcast today, Surbhi. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure and honor to be with you here today, and I'm looking forward to this.
Sure. So, well, thank you for joining us and giving up your valuable time. And so, I wanted to kick off this discussion today. Just tell the audience who you are, what you are, and a little bit about your background. That would be wonderful to hear about.
So I am from Mumbai. I am 25 years old. By qualification, I'm a chartered accountant. And with that, I am also a yoga trainer, a wellness coach, a podcast host, and a content creator. I create content on social media platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. With that, I have also been featured on India's number one business channels. I've worked with a few TV channels. I've done a few yoga shoots for them. At the age of 19, I have represented India at the United Nations headquarters, and I've also been privileged to work with brands like Reliance and a few corporates for their corporate wellness sessions. So I started CA, but ever since I was into the corporate world, I knew that that was not my inclination. I was somehow not interested in the typical corporate job, but I knew that I wanted to create an impact in the wellness and the fitness industry. So after becoming a CA, I switched to being a yoga trainer and a wellness coach.
Wow. So, let's go back a little bit before you becoming a CA. So, how did you start your yoga journey?
Awesome. So I was very young, maybe 6 years old, and at that time my mother, she had a minor accident, but
Okay.
she was advised to be on bed completely. It was a complete bed rest, and since I was very young, and as parents, they tend to get scared whenever doctor says that you'll have to go for a bed rest. And then she got checkups, and some doctors tried told her that she'll have to get be operated and things like that. But there was this one person, some family doctor, and he advised my mother to start doing yoga. And I started accompanying her to her yoga classes, and that is how I started my yoga journey. So I've been doing it for years. It's been almost 16 years. And then COVID happened. And COVID के time पे I feel that that was a time when people realized the importance of health, and people realized that health is actually um it's a vaccine that everyone needed, especially yoga and health and these things, where the entire world was taking vaccines. I feel that yoga was one vaccine that everybody needed in their life. So that was a time when I started teaching yoga, and I started creating content around yoga. So a few of my yoga pictures got reached till to celebrities like Hrithik Roshan, and then I started creating more of it. I started creating awareness around health, and people started liking it. So that is how I started with my yoga classes. I started with very few students, like hardly two students. I had two students in my first online yoga free workshop, but now I am on the mission to take this internationally. And next month on International Yoga Day, I have a yoga session in Dubai. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this, and
Amazing.
I'm very excited.
What a lovely story, and from the problem and the difficulty your mother had. Okay, she obviously came through it with your help doing yoga, and you learned through that process, and now it's shaped your not just career but your life, which is an astounding thing. So then, going into you've done all this yoga. So what made you then choose? Okay, I'm going to become a chartered accountant. How was that? How did you pursue that choice
So
of career or potential career?
sure. So I come from a Marwari family, and business runs in our blood. And
Okay.
somehow it was always my father's dream to become a chartered accountant. But since he had to shift to Mumbai, so we were originally based in Rajasthan, and his parents shifted to Mumbai, and eventually he had to come to Mumbai, start a business, start working. So he could not do it. So I always had this that I want to accomplish my father's dream, and I want to the dream that he saw, I want to accomplish that as a daughter. So that is how I enrolled myself into CA. And once I started, honestly speaking, I was not very sure, if this is something that I want to do, because I knew that if I give like 5 to 7 years of my life, and CA is a course which has no surety. It's not that you give 7 years and you'll end up becoming a chartered accountant. So there's
Sure.
a lot of years where you might have to give to this course. But I cleared my CA foundation in first attempt. Then came inter, which is CA has 3 levels. So
Yep.
intermediate, I was not very sure. I did it with a doubt, if I'll be able to do it, or if this is the right course for me. I had a lot of self doubt, and unfortunately, I could not clear in my first attempt. And that was a time when I failed. Like, it was the first time I failed. So
Sure.
I told myself that if I'm doing this, either I'll give 100% or I will leave it completely. But I did not have guts to leave it. So I was like, let's give it 100%. Let's give one more try. And luckily, I cleared in my second attempt. And final, of course, I did make a few mistakes, but I corrected those mistakes and I cleared CA final. So that is how I started my CA journey. I would say that though this degree, I am not currently into the typical CA job, filing returns, audits, but I feel that it has opened doors to so many incredible opportunities. Even like with the CA Institute, I've done a lot of events with the CA Institute,
Sure.
and yeah, so that is
Yeah,
how it's been
and that's
amazing.
how, I guess, how we got this discussion talking today. That I saw
True.
that you're a CA, and obviously, but you've got other aspects to your life, like yoga. So amazing. So very very interesting story. So now, obviously, you worked for a little while with a large firm. Am I right in understanding? And um, how was that situation
Sorry,
for you? I believe you worked
sorry.
with a large. Did you work with a large
Mhm.
firm? Did you in Mumbai? How was that for you?
Okay, so as I said that this degree, CA degree, my story, I shared my story of switching from CA into yoga, and that story crossed 10 million views. It was on Instagram, and my story was featured on a couple of pages that shares stories. So that is how I gained some kind of visibility through my yoga content, through sharing my stories. Then a lot of TV shows, TV channels, they contacted me, and the best part is I get to net. So a lot of people still question this to me, that why did you switch from something like CA into wellness program? But now I feel that through this degree I get to connect with so many corporates, because I have been through the stress that they deal with on a daily basis. So I feel that I can understand their problems, what they're going through, the stress levels, because CA is a very exhausting course, I would say. So I can actually curate a wellness session or a wellness program for them. And then luckily, like a few months ago, I was invited at Reliance Geo headquarters, which is in Navi Mumbai. So I did a corporate session with them, pan India. So yes, it was great. Actually, what I shared was how can a corporate employee take care of their health along with managing their job. So now I want to take this global.
Amazing, amazing. So, okay, so you've seen the corporate world, you
Hmm.
realize the issues that corporate employees have. Okay, um, how does how do you feel yoga can help an average CA sitting in India? Okay, what are the benefits for someone who hasn't tried yoga before or hasn't really experienced it, or even a chartered accountant or anyone sitting here in the UK? I know many people, or many of my colleagues, have never done it before. What are the benefits of yoga for these people?
So I feel that at this point of time, everybody is running behind money and fame, and they're chasing instant success. Everybody needs that, uh, they want to become famous quickly, they want to earn millions very fast. But what I feel is, over the process, people have forgotten to slow down and, to just take breaks. Now, what happens is, it's a good thing to, run behind the competition and be the best out in the world. But what I also feel is that if you do that, in the long run, this will affect your health. This will increase the stress levels. Maybe you're able to do it because you're in your 20s and 30s and 40s. But once you reach your 60s and 70s, then you'll realize that, I wish I could have taken care of my health. I wish, because that time money can't buy you health. Money can't buy you a healthy body. But a healthy body can definitely get you money, but money cannot get you healthy
Yeah,
body.
agree.
So what I also
I
feel is that my mission was that you make money. It is good thing to make money, but I really don't want you to spend that money paying your hospital bills. Paying your big bills and doctors prescribing you medicines that you will have to take this, and you won't have an option because now the question is about life and death, and you will spend that money. So rather than spending bills, your money on medicines and hospital bills, spend it on gym subscription, yoga classes, some kind of physical activity, some
sure.
anything that could be whatever you like.
Sure, sure. No, no, very, very great points. So, okay, so I'm a very, I try and I'm in my 50s, okay, and you're right. It all starts when you're relatively young. If you and then from my 20s, I've been going to the gym, doing fitness. I've been doing yoga
Awesome.
on and off over the last many years. Okay, I'm not a very good yoga person. As you get older, it's harder to move, it's harder to stretch. But I did a yoga session this morning, actually. So you'd
Oh
be
wow.
proud of me. You'd be proud of me.
I
But
am.
I know personally how important this is, and I've seen people here in the UK, US, India, where you're right, where people get very, very stressed and busy with making money, busy with paying children's school fees or whatever it may be. Okay, high cost living, but they neglect their health, and that's the biggest, the most important thing that they can have. Okay, is their health, because as you said, if they have the health, then they can earn money and last longer and have a better quality of life. And when I've met many Indian CAs in India, and I know many of them do yoga, but I also know many people who struggle with their health
Yes,
because of the
yes.
pressure and the stress
Hmm.
of the job and clients, and that goes hand in hand with their diet they have, which is poor. So and I know in India, so for instance, many Indian people have high blood pressure issues or diabetes issues. It's very common amongst kind of South Asian people. So yoga,
True,
in
true.
my mind, is an amazing tool that obviously comes from India. It started all from India many, many years ago, and many people from the West um, look at India for their yoga. So how do you, sorry, I have a dog barking here, so that's kind of
No, no worries.
contributing to this. But how do you want to spread your message to people across India, and how do you want to spread your message to people across the world about your yoga plans?
So, as you said, that yoga is something that was originated in India. It is from India, and Rishikesh being the yoga capital of in yoga. So, what I feel is everybody we should actually be so proud that something that was started in our country is now being taken away by people across the world. People are now making so much money in the West teaching yoga. So, firstly, is something that has been your origin, you should actually stick to your roots, and you should first start practicing yoga. Secondly, I feel that it is free, okay? All you need is like maybe 30 minutes to 40 minutes of your day. So, you need to realize that something which is free, something which is going to give you instant peace, instant relaxation, and a disease free life. Then why not, maybe just take this treat this as an investment. I see a lot of finance courses teaching you how to 10x your money, how to 2x your money, and how to, be rich faster. But I always ask them, what will you do with that money if your health is not supporting? So you need to treat health as an investment. Like you said that, once a person comes closer to his 60s and 70s, and that is the time when he realizes that I should be taking care of my health, and I wish I was healthy, I wish I had taken care of my health in my earlier 20s. What I feel is everything starts when you're young. It's just that diabetes, it is detected at 40, it is detected at 50. Maybe some kind of diseases, the detection part happens, on the later part of your years of your life. But
Sure.
everything starts, it's like everyday process, you know. It's happening right now. So if your today is not good, if your today you did not take care of your health, or if you ate something which is not healthy, then it is, you compounds, like as we said, money compounds. So that is
Correct.
how your health
Correct.
also compounds. Your diseases, it piles up over the years, and then boom, suddenly there's a doctor says that you've been detected with diabetes or detected with this disease, and you have to now be on bed or take these injections and take these medicines. So
So
I feel Indians should realize that, it is that what they're doing is actually, not good for their health.
absolutely, I think that you've used some great analogies there with money, with finance. Okay, where you said treat health like an investment, and I think that's so true. People forget that it starts young. Okay, and if you start looking after your health at a young age, the power of compounding, as we all know, as accountants, is you, through money it grows. Okay, through the power of interest
Correct.
compounding. But the same exactly happens with your health. Okay, if you start treating it well from a young age and continue treating it well, okay, the likelihood is you might be much fitter, stronger, and healthier when you reach 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, or wherever it may be. So I look at my father, who's passed away now, but he was very much in. He did yoga for many years, okay, and he lasted into his 90s, and he was relatively had relatively good health, okay.
Awesome.
And I think yoga was an important part of that whole journey. Obviously, you get other illnesses and cancer and all these types of things, unfortunately, which will affect all of us at some point in time. We all have to go. But if you can have a good quality life, driven by looking after your health, I think that's
Mm.
so important. So, Surbi, you're
Yes.
in your 20s. So, if you had a message for those youngsters, the younger people out there like you, in their 20s doing their CA, what would be your three tips for them? What would be your top three
So,
tips?
about CA or about health?
Health,
Okay.
about their health. How can they improve their health? Because everyone watching this has done their CA or they're doing their CA. They know what they're doing.
Hmm.
It's the important aspect here to me is their health. Okay, so
Okay.
what are the top tips health wise you would give them?
Okay, so I feel that health is not just physical health. There are three aspects to health. First is, of course, mental health. Second is physical health. And the third part is the most important, I feel, that affects your physical health as well as your mental health, and that is your diet. Now, one thing that I see around, corporates, and that is people eat food as if, without even thinking twice. Like if there's a pizza and they'll be like, finish. What I feel is, diet, eat your food like your medicine, or else you will have to eat your medicine like your food. Now the thing is, exercise is of course important, but what I, even after being a yoga trainer, I can tell you this, that exercise is just 5% of your health. The major part of your health is your diet, what you are eating throughout the day, from morning till evening. So I have this one habit. First thing is, being a Jain, and we our principles are very scientific. The Jainism principles are very scientific. So I don't eat my dinner after sunset. The second thing that I do is, I am on zero sugar. So my family, we cook a very sattvic diet, very simple, no sugar, no oily food. And the third thing is, all these food delivery apps that give you like instant food, like in India, these are actually gaining popularity, because you think anything and in just 10 to 15 minutes, it's in front of you. So if you really care about your health, just stay away from these instant food delivery apps and eat anything that is nature based or that is home cooked. That was about the diet part, because I feel that what food you put inside your body, it has the power to affect your thoughts. It has the power to affect your moods, your emotions, what you think, how you feel about yourself.
Uh, if you were advising some young people today, okay, about their well-being and health, what would that advice be?
So, as I mentioned about diet, I think I'm pretty much clear about, what people should actually be very conscious of what they're eating, and they should be eating mindfully, because that will affect their emotions and thoughts and everything. The second thing is about having a company around you who are inclined towards fitness. I feel that we tend to become the average of five people we stay around with.
Sure.
So more than the youth, what I see these days is especially the Gen Zs. They are they're following the trends and they're following what looks cool on the internet. But I feel that it's very common to go to cafes and spend thousands of money paying a single bill. But what I feel is these are the people who would maybe not hit the gym, and it is considered very normal to live a very average life. I feel that your circle should motivate you and inspire you to become a healthier version of you. So don't be around people who are very foodie, who are just going out every single day and eating outside food and eating all the junk. So have a good circle, have a good friend circle. And the third thing would be very simple, but I think listen to what your mother teaches you about fitness and health, because I feel that every mother, they have this inborn nutrition knowledge. Somehow they know that what is right for their child and what is not. So very basic, eat home cooked food, eat something which is easily available, something which is natural. If nature didn't make it, don't take it. So something fruits, vegetables, and whatever your mother tells you, just listen to her. Because honestly, talking about myself, most of the things that I have learned about diet and about nutrition is from my mother, because she reads a lot of books and she'll tell me eat this, don't eat this, and I feel that I'm just sharing what I learned from her, and I follow that in my life. So
Well,
I
that's
think would be the three
very,
basic.
very important. I think you're right. As you said earlier, the diet impacts your health in many ways, physical health, mental health. But you're right, your peer group, as they say here in the UK, you become the average of your peer group, as you said. Okay. And so
Hmm.
if your peer group is bringing you down or doing bad things or wrong things, change your peer group. Okay.
Hmm.
It's something people need to be strong enough to change their peer group. So it's very, very important, valid points here. So as you said earlier, now you've trained corporate clients. You're very active as a podcast host and doing creating content online. How can we make those changes and help people make those changes?
I feel that what would really work is there's always this one turning point. I really don't want anyone to go through a major disease, but I think it should have come from a place of self realization. Because no matter whatever they listen to, and they might, whatever they do might be temporary, if you really really want a permanent solution to this, there should be this self realization, and maybe some self talk, that am I nourishing my body, or am I putting something in my body that is maybe not giving me energy, or maybe it has zero nutrients. So first thing is, people should be self-aware. They should be made self-aware of what is good and what is bad. And one more thing that I would like to mention here is health should be a compulsory subject in schools, like
Right.
in every school since childhood. Because what we're taught in school is trigonometry and geometry and things like that, and history, Mughal Empire, and these things, especially in the Indian textbook, something which has no relevance in real life. But topics like finance, topics like investing, topics like fitness should be included in the syllabus since a very young age. So I feel if the education system changes, I feel that is how they will, be more aware of their future and of their years in their 20s and 30s.
I think you're right. Those things start at a young age, and the similar problem is here in the UK as well. People aren't educated about finance or aren't educated about their health properly at school age, and they're left to people to find out and figure it out themselves, which which is wrong. Okay, these are the most important things that impact your life, not, as you said, trigonometry or history or
Mm.
whatever. That doesn't have a massive impact on your life, really. Okay, okay, no,
Mm.
very, very, very poignant points from a young lady like yourself. Okay, so now we all see India is growing. It's a growing economy. Um, the recently a free trade agreement was signed last week with the United Kingdom, which is a positive thing economically um, for both countries. Yet, and Indian people are getting very busy with trying to make more money, trying to grow and develop, and that's all amazing. Okay, But how do we get the message to Indian people that money is important, but your health is more important? How do we get that message to them?
So, firstly, I feel that every corporate should have some standard health related policy or some kind of standard strategy to make sure that the mental well being of their employees actually comes before their targets and before the profits. Because once you keep them happy internally, externally, in terms of body, in terms of mindset, I am pretty sure that they would want to give their best to whatever they're contributing
Sure,
in terms of their work.
sure,
They would want feel more happy, more energized. Like if you see companies like Google, I've been to the Google headquarters in San Francisco, and I was amazed to see the facilities that they provide to their employees, because they have like
sure,
gyms and they have like play area, and they have this freedom of they can work wherever they want, they can have their free time, they can actually go
sure.
and play a sport. So I feel that if the company or the corporates have some standard health related or fitness based policies, I think that would really increase the turnover, because if your employees are healthy, of course the profits are tend to increase.
Sure. No, I agree. So we have to get that message into the corporates of India to invest in their employees and to create that culture of health and well-being. Okay,
How
amazing.
is it in the West?
Well, it's mixed as well. Some organizations are very good at it. So, like you mentioned, people like Google trying to encourage that. But I think that's also been a reaction because of they've worked people very hard. So American companies like Google probably work these people very hard. They expect them to be at the office long hours. So they feel they have to compensate them with better
Okay.
facilities, gyms, healthcare plans. So we have to get that balance right. And certainly in the West, it's not um, far from perfect as well. People work very long hours, and there's a lot of pressure on people, and hence then they look to people in the East for ideas, for yoga, for
Oh,
um, solutions. Okay, so I think the problem is universal. Um, it's universal. It's just different geographies, but the same problem exists here. And it's trying to get that message to people saying, well, yeah, business is important, money is important, but the well-being of your team or well-being of yourself is much, much more important. Okay. And it all starts with the leaders, it all starts with the business owners, it all starts with the founders. Okay. Because if they buy into it, then they can share the message to their teams, to their employees, to everybody. And but if they don't believe in it, if they don't see the benefit of it, then it's much harder to get that message across. Okay.
yeah.
So that's an important thing. So now, kind of, you've very, very kindly offered and accepted. I've offered and you've accepted to join us at our event in Mumbai on the 2nd and 3rd of August, going global. Okay, and so we were very lucky to have Surbhi to come and share her knowledge and experience, particularly around the wellness side of things. So, when you're for your session, what can people expect when you're coming to our event at Going Global in Mumbai, Surbhi?
So, one thing that they can really expect is instant relaxation, instant happiness. And once I feel that, I'm assuming that my session would be in the morning. So, I will make sure that, if your morning goes good, your entire day would go good. And you would
Sure.
actually be so less stressed, or I would say that, no stress. So, yeah, I will definitely make sure that I bring to this table that instant happiness, instant relaxation. With that, I'm pretty sure that they're going to have a very fun day, very fun hour with me. So I'm super excited, and I am looking forward to this, and I cannot wait. I hope that more people join in, and I am pretty sure that this. I wish that this, I wish you that this event becomes a super successful one.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think, well, with people like you getting involved, I'm sure it'll be very successful. We're very excited about hosting this event. The first one we did in Delhi last in December. Now this next one's in August in Mumbai. It's aimed at CAs across India seeking to grow their firms, okay, whilst also going global, understanding some of the marketing aspects, some of the leadership aspects, some of the team culture aspects, but also running a much better business. And a much better business involves being healthy, involves wellness for yourself, but also your team members. Okay, never forget that. You need to look after your team. If you look after your team, they'll look after the business. But if you don't look after the business of the team, who's going to look after the business? So it's so important to understand these things. And Surbhi's very kind of aptly and very succinctly given us some great tips today, where she said, treat health like an investment, guys. That's so important. I kind of agree with you on 100% on that, and people forget that. We all want our money to grow, but our health should grow stronger as well. So, Surbhi, on that note, I'm going to ask you for any last points from yourself today to share to the audience, or you've given some great tips already, but any final thoughts from your side?
So, firstly, thank you so much. It was a great conversation. I hope I could bring some value through this podcast. And I hope that I inspired, even if it is like 1%, and even if people follow one advice from, this podcast, I would
Sure,
actually feel that, I've made an impact. Second thing is, what I would advise is try not to take life too seriously,
sure.
because most of the time people are so serious, even if they tend to be so busy in their own thoughts and start overthinking. Yeah, what if this happens, what if that happens? So first, don't take life too seriously. Be good, whatever you do, just make sure that you do it with good intentions. Be very very true to your work. Make sure that whatever you're doing, give your 100%, and I am sure that success will follow you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your insights today, Surbhi. And you know what? After talking to you today, and you said at the outset, I'm convinced you're going to be a global phenomenon. Okay, sharing your wisdom, sharing your health expertise, and your experience to many people. And I wish you all the success on that. And I look forward to meeting you personally in Mumbai in a couple of months' time. Okay, thank you very much.
So,
Okay.
thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.